Hey dosers, what's up and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be focusing on the quotient rule. So we've done previously the chain rule and the product rule. Next week's videos will include harder questions to solve based on the product, chain, but today we're just going over the basics. So let's get right into today's video. So the quotient rule differentiation, what does that mean? So when you have a function which is y u of x over v of x. So u of x could be anything. This includes a variable, preferably a variable, but in most cases it includes a variable. So it can be something like 2x squared plus 3x plus 4. That can be u of x, and v of x could be something as simple as x cubed. This is an example of something, a question that you might, a type of question that you might come across. So u of x over v of x, and both of these are their own separate functions. You can disclose them as. So how do we find the differentiated version of? Well, you can apply product rule in this case, but it's easier to just apply the quotient rule. So what does that mean? So the quotient rule states that dy x, so y prime, so the function differentiated, y differentiated is v, the function v, times prime, so this function differentiated, minus u, the original u, times by v prime. So this differentiated over v squared. So write the same thing, but you just square it. Very simple, very nice and easy. The way you apply a product rule instead of the quotient rule, if you want, is that you can write y instead of u over x. You can write it as u times 1 over v of x. This is how you can write it if you want to use product rule. But I would advise against it depending on the question. But in most cases, apply the quotient rule. It is much easier to do than applying the product rule. Okay? Now let's try a question. So we have this question over here. Y is equal to cosine cosine x over x cubed. So I want you to pause the video and have a go at this question real quick. Try to solve it by yourself, applying the same concept that we just learned, right? Okay, hopefully you pause the video and had a go. If not, please do have a go at it. So dy over dx is what we're trying to find. We're trying to find y prime. So y prime is stated as u prime times v minus v prime times u over v squared. Now, in and chain rule, you can interchange these terms right here. You can move them around a little bit. But do not do that over here because there is a minus in the middle. U prime has to be first before prime. Always remember that. These terms, they can be moved around here because that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which way you multiply these items, but you cannot move these two around. Do not move these two around. Do not do that. Okay? Because there's a minus in the middle and that affects a lot if you switch around the terms. So this is what we're trying to find. So we disclose our the terms. So this would ideally be our u, and this would be our v, as stated in the question, right? U over v. So this is what we have here. So we write down our u is cosine of x, v is x cubed. Now, again, we apply the same thing that we use for product and chain rule. We write u prime and we write v prime. We write both of these terms and try to understand what they are. So to understand to understand u prime, you have to remember that trigonometric functions, their answer differentiated, you have to remember each of them. So cosine differentiated, you have to remember, is minus sine of x. The same way that sine of x differentiated would be cosine, but minus sine x minus sine x differentiated is a completely different term. Okay, so you have to remember each of these differentiated for every trigonometric function. For x cubed, on the other hand, we can just simply apply the differentiation rule, and you get 3x squared. Very nice and simple. Now we apply the rule that we've written down here. So y prime is now equal to u prime, so minus sine x. Okay, we might have to do this on new page. Let's get this out. Okay. So u prime, so y prime is equal to minus sine x, which is our u, times v. So v is what? X cubed. So this is x cubed, right? Minus, minus 3x squared. It was? Yeah, minus 3x squared. 3x squared times by u cosine x. Yeah, v prime times u. V prime times u. Times cosine x over, and what was our term? V squared, right? So x to the power of 3 squared. So x to the power of 3 squared, which is just x to the power of 6, if you want to simplify. Sim and once you simplify these terms, you can cancel out some of the x's. Like you see x cubed, x squared, you can cancel these out, and you'll end up with something. So let me just explain it. Minus x cubed, right, times sine x. This is your term on top. Minus 3x squared times cosine x over x to the power of 6. So essentially what you can do here is, because x squared over here and x cubed over here, you can cancel out this x squared, you can cancel this 3 out and leave an x, and then you can cancel this out, it has a 4. Yeah? Because you just cancel out the x squared, you bring this outside, and you cancel it out with the denominator, because you have x is here, and x is here in every single. So this is our final answer over here. It just erase it. Come on. Yeah. X minus x sine x minus 3 cosine of x after canceling everything out over to the power of 4. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. If not, please do rewatch this video. It's very simple. I tried to explain it as best as I can. Hopefully you guys understood. Now I want to apply what you've learned and give it a go at this question over here. It's relatively simple, so please do have a go. The mark scheme is on the next slide afterwards. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you've understood everything again. Um, Let me know in the comments below if there's anything you want me to clear out, anything you want me to explain in general. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Good day. This is SK signing off.